Welcome to day 30. As I discussed, this is going to be a push exercise. I am no longer going to be doing the compound 3 days or 3 exercises a day. I'm now going to focus primarily on push exercises. Tornado, thank you for getting involved. My dog wants to help. Basically, we're going to focus on the chest first. So we're going to go from the largest muscles down. That's basically the way I'm going to go through this process. I'm going to focus on my chest. We'll do upper chest, the medial chest, and the lower chest. So we'll be doing incline, regular chest, and the decline. So we're getting more of a press motion. Then we'll go into shoulder exercises. So we'll go from largest muscle to next largest muscle down to tricep. That is what's going to happen today. I'm going to try and go through this as quickly as possible. This isn't so much about a volume now. We're more about making sure that the muscles that are already activated and involved now are continuing to get development, while at the same time involving in more detail some of these subtle elements that I wasn't really focusing on prior, being the triceps, being the shoulders. And then tomorrow we'll go into pull exercises, and you'll be able to see that then I'm going to get more into my back, more into my biceps, more into my forearms. Those items where you're pulling, actions where you're pulling. So that's the difference when I'm talking about push and pull. And third day will be legs. So, wish me luck. I think what we're going to try and start today is we're going to do 3 sets of 3. So it'll kind of be in similar volume range. However, it'll be different exercises. So I'm going to be hitting different areas or putting different strains on that pectoral muscle. Now I am starting with a larger volume today, or a larger weight, because I am going with lower volume. And hopefully this will work out for me very well. So, as you can see, I'm trying to get deeper into that upper muscle, really try to bring it down, get as much of a stretch as I can, hold that for about a half a second before pushing back up. Each time, control all the way down, hold that muscle in a lengthened position. This is because, at least from what I understand, based on the fitness community, additionally, based on what has been written down, documented, that most muscle growth actually happens while your muscles actually in its lengthened position. So you think of your stretched. So if your chest is stretched, that means it's its maximum area. That's kind of what we're trying to do. We're trying to force hypertrophic growth while in that maximum length or stretched position. Kind of like for your quads. You want that muscle to be as lengthened as possible. So you want basically your ankle to be as close to your butt as you possibly can when you're getting that stretch, or you want it to be as fully that locked out and clenched point, although it's building strength, may not quite be building the muscle growth. So because we're talking about 2 different things, I'm trying to grow muscle size because I don't want to just suddenly have a lot of flabby skin when I lose all this weight. So I want to fill out underneath. I want my body to be full. So as I do slowly let my muscle regain its elasticity and slowly come back in as I lose all this fat, all this weight, I'm basically trying to fill up that void again with as much muscle as possible, much volume as possible, so that way the skin doesn't just have, wrinkles and flabs and just hang all over the place. Ultimately, this is about making my health better, but at the same time, I also want some aesthetic appearance as well. So that's what we're going to be focusing on. Please understand, some of these exercises, I am not going to be doing massive weight. For me, although I'm trying to lose weight, as I just discussed, I'm also trying to grow muscle at the same time. So I'm not going to be pushing myself to an aerobic state, or am I going to be really pushing for strength? What I'm really trying to develop here is muscles in larger size. Muscles in larger size are going to help me burn off more calories quicker. Let me get my next set and I'll continue on where I'm at. So as I was saying, I'm trying to maximize that muscle growth. I want the volumes and the fibers in my muscles to fill up. I want them to stretch as best I can, while at the same time also seeing that, hey, I need to repair itself. I need to add more volume, more size so that this can handle more. Hypertrophic stimulus, or that which is helping your muscle to grow, does not require strength. I don't know if you've ever seen like super skinny guys that are lifting like 500 pounds. That's strength. That's functional strength. That's pure strength. That is their body knowing how to perform the exercise, as well as them having the strength to perform that exercise. That does not require size. I could probably get a semi-decent, maybe a natural bodybuilder form by using very low weights. I'm trying to stimulate growth. I'm not trying to hurt myself. I'm not trying to over maximize strength and potentially tear something. I'm an older guy. What I'm trying to do is maximize growth, because the larger the muscle, as I've kind of stated before, the more fat calories that are going to be burned. It takes more energy to maintain muscle than it does fat. As I'm losing fat and gaining muscle, I should be able to burn more calories through just maintaining that muscle, helping me to get rid of more and more fat. That is why I'm going for more of a hypertrophic goal and trying to develop muscles underneath. And as I said, to get that more aesthetic appearance. Let me get my last incline set and we'll discuss some more. Now, the reason I'm breaking these down into a push, a pull, and a leg day is because I also want my body to start recovering faster. As you probably noticed during my squat sessions, I was struggling by about set 5, set 6, totally winded, totally out of it. And that should be expected with a squat. That's normal. The problem is that I was overutilizing most of my energy while trying to encompass my upper body. I don't know if you've ever seen those guys are all big up top and then chicken legs down the bottom. That's not going to be me. I need to focus this, especially additionally, as I discussed before, I'm trying to focus on also developing my heart strength. squats require a lot of cardiovascular health as well, which means involving my heart and my respiratory system. So I want to maximize the energy and the potential I have available to myself when I want to perform those exercises. And I want to give them the focus and allow enough time, which I was only giving a day between each rest set. Now I'm hoping to give myself enough time to really, really recover. If I find that I'm recovering too easy, maybe I will sometimes mix sets or add additional exercises outside of just the push and pull on those days, knowing those muscles can recover quickly. However, the main focus again is to make sure that the muscles can grow, they have enough energy, and then I can also put enough resources towards that. Okay, so let's see. All right. So the first exercise I was doing was an incline press. Now I am doing a regular flat, as you can see on flat chest press or bench press. All right, putting a little extra effort there. Now, I don't know the proper names for them. However, the incline press will get a larger portion of the chest, the pec. However, it's primarily going to get the upper and a little bit of the medial that runs up into your into your armpit, right next to your shoulder. The flat press is going to get a very strong set within the medial or across, and a little tiny bit in the upper and lower, or the under side. Now the decline will definitely hit under here and a little bit more of the medial. But each time I go down, additionally, I'm also excluding a muscle. So in the incline press, I'm getting a little bit more of my front deltoid as well. I'm getting that additional assistance. As I go down, I'm still getting a front deltoid, a little bit of the tricep, but it's lessened. And when I get to a decline, pretty much the only thing I'm getting is that push from here down. So I'm going to get tricep, not so much shoulder activation, but very much the chest when we get into the lure. And this may not be true for everybody. That is for my body. That is what I feel. That is where I feel the muscle. And as I said, whatever feels best to you is what you should do. Enjoy what you're doing. And as I said, less of my front delt is being used. Clearly more of my tricep is being used. My failure was not so much my chest there, it was on the short head of my tricep. am pushing myself a little bit more because I do want to develop strength while developing this muscle growth. However, I'm going to do it in a very unoptimal way. Many people like to go into a progressive fail-safe. Basically, think of it as you start with 80 pounds. 1 week, the following week, you're getting comfortable with that. If you're easily hitting your sets of 10, usually then move to 85. If you can do it the next week with 85, easily you're hitting your 10. Go to 90. And continually progressing, strengthening of your body and building up that strength. Whereas I'm going to be doing more of a roller coaster scale. I should probably be doing 85 today. I'm pushing myself at 95. I'm going to push a little bit higher on the strength. This is to kind of, inadvertently force myself into a slight DOM state because I'm introducing new exercises. And DOMs, as I've kind of said before, delayed onset muscle soreness. I want to feel where I'm sore. This is going to give me two key factors. The first key factor is going to let me know that, hey, I'm definitely working the muscles. Additionally, it's going to show me where my weaknesses are, as well as what areas are not being utilized. So based on the exercise I'm performing, I should be feeling it pretty equally throughout my entire chest, my shoulders, and my triceps after I'm done with this today. However, if I feel that one area is overly sore and one area is not, then clearly I'm compensating in a certain muscle group, or the certain muscle group is overcoming something in my workout. I.e. right now, the failure on my chest was not my chest, it was my triceps. So I need to strengthen my triceps so I can continue to progress, which means you will see me go through weights that are going to be up and down, until I get myself into a comfort state where I can move into that progressive state. But as for right now, that's going to be a week by week, even day by day change. Let me hit my next set. So, as you may have also noticed that when I got into those sets, if I am in a rest position, I always want rest position to be at the bottom. I don't want it to be at the top. It's easy to hold weight. It's more difficult to control weight. If I'm in that stretched and lower position, I'm also putting more time under tension in that stress position, where I was discussing earlier, leads to more hypertrophic growth. Now this is going to be the most difficult one for me, because unlike the other positions, I don't have a safe escape route. If I can't get this back up on there, I don't have a good way of recovering, other than trying to slide and get myself out without it being locked. But this is probably the easiest way for me to focus on primarily the chest, and as well I think it is my most strengthened position. I think you could probably test this yourself. Try and push 150 pounds this way. Try and push 150 pounds that way. And then try to push 150 pounds this way. You'll notice that you're going to get lat activation. You're going to get your back into the correct position where your scapula or shoulder blades will actually fold into place as if you're, you're pulling something down, but at the same time you're pushing. So you put your body into the best optimal push rate in a decline. So I shouldn't find myself in any kind of bad situation, but it is, had this been free weights, the most challenging if it comes down to, I'm in an oh shit moment. I think another thing I wanted to address was that you probably noticed that sometimes I'm taking a little more time in between sets. I try to keep myself between 90 seconds to 2 minutes. This is not something you have to do. This is something I'm doing. Some people can do 30 seconds to be fine. Some people want to wait 5 minutes for the next set. I'm doing this at my speed for one reason alone. I wait for my heart rate to get between 110 and 120. If my heart rate is above that, then I am already pushing into the form of where I'm going to be, which then means that when I'm in the exercise, I'm going to push even harder, which can lead to two things. A lack of oxygen because my blood's flowing too fast and I'm already struggling to get the air. Second thing, I won't be able to have that muscle strength and control / mental focus that I need to perform the exercise properly. So let's go into the first set of decline. So clearly, I'm definitely identifying that my triceps are going to be a weak area. This is going to be something I'm going to have to develop much more strength in. And I feel this is happening just because I haven't put focused effort on just my triceps. One thing I could do to improve this is I could bring my bench press closer in. If I were to bring my bench press closer in, like say I want my thumbs to hit my nipples, if I were to bring that in, that's going to do one thing. It's going to bring my elbows in closer, so my shoulders into my body, and if you notice, it's going to focus this much more, the exact muscle that I'm struggling with, that short head of my tricep. That would put more focus on it. I would lower the weight then, but I also know that I would not be capitalizing on the chest, which is the exercise I'm trying to do. Now, what I could do to compensate for this is I could start integrating more and more calisthenics into my morning routine, which I now have a morning routine additionally on top of my evening workout. What I could do is I could say, okay, every day I'm going to do either 40 close grip push-ups, probably on the stool, enough that's elevated so I'm focusing just on the tricep while getting a little bit of chest. Or I could also, I don't know exactly what these are called. We called them seated triceps extensions when I was a kid. I don't know what they're called now. But you would sit so that your wrists are flat on that surface, and then I would be pushing up, just controlling that on my body with my leg kicked out in front of me to focus on that muscle. I could start doing that to also help build those triceps. This isn't going to be something that's going to occur quickly. However, you will start to see the development over the next month or so. Again, depending on how everything's going to go today, I will know better. Maybe I'll add some kickbacks. I know this isn't really a favorite exercise of many. However, I enjoy it because back in the days, I will tell you, it made my rear delt very, very noticeable and gave a better topper. I don't know how to call this, but your tricep, I don't know if I can really show this very well because I'm so pale, but you have your short head that comes down in front of here. And additionally, you have another long head that comes down to about the inner part of your elbow. Now on top of that, right at the rear part of your delt here, it comes up and comes to like a point as well. And it really builds up that part. So you get like this big volume here. So I might do some of those as well. All right, next set. All right. So now the bad thing is I have a loud mouth. I like to talk a lot. And now, I don't know if I did 3 sets or not. I was so focused on the conversation, I forgot. So, if I did do 3 sets, then great for me. However, if I didn't, I'm going to punish myself right now. And I'm going to do it anyways, because if it is a 4th set, then great, I got extra volume. However, I need to know I did what I needed to do. Additionally, one thing I can also do is I can go back and I can look at my video. Now, I don't have the best setups. I only can see myself from a certain angle here. But I can watch kind of what my arms do. Now, sorry, I'm always trying to gain extra steps to continue to walk here. So let me talk about this a little bit. So during your push-up or your bench press or whatever exercise you are doing for the chest exercise, you basically want to think of your hands being somewhere just outside your shoulders or just inside your shoulders, unless you're really trying to get that focus, like I said, in for the tricep. Anything that will pull yourself in where your elbows are coming in close and you're focusing on that movement versus you can see how my chest widens up, it opens up. I'm not really flaring my arms out, except for just a little. And really all I'm doing is retracting my scapula a little bit. Think of yourself like this. Think thumbs to nipples and squeeze your scapula while at the same time pushing. You can see how the volume fills out in my chest when I do that. That's what I'm trying to do. Now, some of us, when we get tired or we get exhausted, we do this. Now, when you're doing this, you're doing several different things that could be a problem. First, you're throwing out your shoulders. You're activating your shoulders into exercise. You're releasing the ball joint and the joint, so you're kind of pulling it out. There's a potential for damage. Just be aware of that. It's going to give you a killer stretch. You're going to feel it really freaking good in your chest. It also could damage your chest by doing this because you're putting it in an already hyperextended position, even into a further extended position. And now you're throwing a whole bunch of weight on it. It can be good if you could handle it, but it can also be very dangerous, so just be careful with that. But also what I'm trying to say is when you flare out your arms, so now you're involving additional muscles. You're throwing it into a weakness state. Additionally, your body no longer has that secure seated spot. You can't really secure your shoulders anymore. Where's all that weight going? Well, if your chest can't support it on its own, it starts to go into those other muscles. So then that's kind of what could happen. So right now I'm feeling it here, which could be, again, I can go back to my form and check. there is the potential that maybe I'm flaring a little. Maybe I'm doing something that's engaging them more. Maybe it's not a weakness. But we'll find out when we get there. Let me get this last set. As I said, I would go one more set. If I happen to get it already, great. But if not, we're doing one more set. Let's get that set. Alright, so bench press is in a good place. That makes me happy. Now, as I said, we're now going to hit those shoulders. Let me talk a little bit about why I want to do that. So I'm hitting this largest muscle first. Then I'm going to go to the next largest muscle, being the shoulder. And when I say that, if I were to compare this section of my arm compared to this section of my arm, volume-wise and muscle-wise, they may be similar. However, the shoulder is going to get more movement, more momentum, and more use daily. So I want to wear this muscle out. I wanted this muscle wore out. And why is that? Because, as I said, this muscle was slightly compensating for my chest. I want all this to be gone. Basically, all the large muscles that could overcompensate, I want to take them away first. So that by the time I get to this muscle, this is the only factor, other than my wrists, my position, and my holding, that handles how I start to develop this. Now, there may be other people out there who have different scientific reasons why they want to do something, or logical reasons why to do it a different way, maybe to do it in reverse, so that way all the other elements are pre-exhausted before I hit my chest, focusing that. Well, I know for a fact, no matter what, unless I find some magical way to lock my elbows and shoulders in place and still get a stretch here, when I hit this chest, all these other muscles are going to be involved. However, if I wear these ones out, the likelihood of them being involved in something that's locked, where I can lock that position, and it's the only muscle being affected, a lot less likely. Again, this is my opinion, my belief. Believe how you will. And I don't judge anybody for it. I just believe this is the way I'm doing it. And I hope you guys go along. Now, unlike for my chest, I'm not going to push the weight on my shoulder. I'm going to actually perform these exercises with a little bit weight less than what I believe I can do. So that, again, if I put myself into that dom state, I'll be able to identify, do I need more weight or do I not? So I can really see what's being utilized, what's not. That's really all this is all about. So I'm going to go from now the chest exercises to now focused on my shoulder. We're going to start with a behind the neck military press. I don't recommend this for everybody. I know that even the first guy who showed me how to do these, Tim Touchstone, an awesome sheriff in my town. At least he was. Don't know where he is now. But he showed me 2 different ways to do it. You could do the front, in front of the chest, more military press style, or do it behind the neck. Now, his whole thing was, do I feel it in my shoulders? When I'm doing in front of me, I feel primarily my chest, a little bit of the frontal shoulder. However, for me, when I'm doing behind the neck, I get a real good muscle feel. I can feel my back tighten up. I can feel my neck loosen up, and I can feel it in the top and medial shoulders. And I can really get that mind muscle connection. That doesn't mean it's going to work for you. I recommend trying it in the front if you're not getting that connection and you have the flexibility. I just happen to be lucky that I can pull my arms back enough to do it. Some people don't, and it can actually damage your, kind of like I was saying with the bench press. If you're flailed out too much, they put that ball in socket joint, and the ligaments at a disadvantage and could be bad. However, in my case, it's worked for me. So if you do try it with lightweight. Make sure that you feel it. If it feels exactly the same, then I recommend doing a frontal military press. That is just me. I can't speak for anybody else. Additionally, my bench press, or my bench itself, doesn't go back far enough, so I'm doing it behind the neck either way unless I turn around. Now, for this exercise, at least for myself, I have found it works best if I find a grip that is literally like right on top of my shoulders, so that I can make sure my back is flat, my scapula are flat, I push straight up, and let it come straight down. Now, in the past, you've probably seen me doing it with the neck roll on there, just because I wasn't sure whether or not I could still do it, and I didn't want this weight slamming into my neck and potentially causing any kind of damage. That's another thing that could happen. Now, just like the chest press, I want it in that down position. It's going to force my rear delt and my scapula to really tighten up, while at the same time my medial delt is going to fight to keep it straight, and my frontal delt will help me with the execution of the exercise. Okay, set 1. Now, primarily what I'm getting from that is more of the upper, I will say upper medial and rear delt down into the medial delt here. I wish I had a way of being able to show you from a picture like the color codes or something, say like, I think the back here is purple and red in the middle and green or something, just something to kind of visually show you. However, if you look at the delt, it's going to look kind of like a heart. And then you're going to have like one little section that looks like it's kind of down, that's in the middle. That's just because of the ball joint. Well, the section that comes off here on the front that comes down, that's frontal delt. Then you have your medial delt, which is that larger section that's lower, that little divot that you have, and that covers up that point that comes down into the actual point that you see where your tricep and bicep separates. And then the rear delt, depending on how you have yours developed, will come right down to right about halfway there and then take up the rear section. It's not the largest muscle, but I will tell you that rear delt will definitely make your shoulders pop. Once that rear delt's defined, you'll know your shoulders. Oh. So we're going to continue trying to pre-exhaust these muscles, and wish me luck. Hopefully we can keep on with this. We can make ourselves proud. We can make the MacroFactor fitness community proud First, because their app is working from a diet standpoint, doing amazing for me. I will say it's definitely better than MyFitnessPal so far. I'm only a month in, but I am definitely really starting to get into its structure and what it's giving to me. I really enjoy it. And lastly, the most important people, you guys, my family, my friends, the people who I'm not just selfishly doing this for myself, but I'm doing it for them. So that's the other good thing. Okay, sit two, let's go. Now, I can't say what's going to happen on this weight next time I do my push, but I can tell you, as good as this feels a little light. When I say that, because I'm feeling the muscle activation, but I'm still able to easily kind of talk, which I'm not certain that should be easy enough for me to do right now. I should probably be struggling. Now another good thing about this, at least for me, is I'm also in the bottom element getting a really good stretch on my tricep, all the way down to my elbow. So the long head of my tricep is getting a really good stretch. And that's going to go back to, I want them to grow in length position. Although it's not a focus muscle right now, I am putting it in that maximal stretch location with a little bit of force on it. Not as much as when I start to do the true tricep extensions, but enough to get it already warmed up and ready for that next movement. And I know I probably don't say this enough because I'm not on here enough and I'm selfish and this is all about me and making myself better and blah blah blah, but thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for keeping me going. Almost every video I've done, I got one like. Probably my wife or some good friend. It's helping push me. Thank you for those small comments. Like, keep going. I'm rooting for you. Even give me ideas for what I should shoot for next. These little things are pushing me. It's no longer just about me. If I win, it's not just me winning. It's us all winning. Because I didn't just do this on my own. You know, yes, I'm putting in the hard work. But I have also those people like you who are watching and helping push me. You probably don't know it, but I'm telling you, it helps. You're that nice motivational speech that's in my head without even saying a thing. That comment, the fact that I saw someone watch the video. You're helping me push through this. So thank you. Okay. Third set. Now, let's get this going and then we'll talk a little more about some of the other shoulder exercises as we get into them. One extra, for good measure. Okay. So seriously, thank you. Thank you for watching and keeping me honest. It's crazy how you can get winded just from doing a few exercises that you're sitting down. However, I did kind of go against my own rules, and I messed up. I didn't get my steps all in today, so I'm also trying to capture a few extra steps here while walking. Maybe 15 minutes before we came in here to start recording this, I finished up my 8,000 steps on a speed 3-mile walk. So I was already pre-exhausted coming into this, which is also probably not optimal for what I actually am trying to accomplish. I might keep my heart rate, or my heart rate may have been in aerobic state so long that this could diminish my returns. Give me one moment, I will return. I actually have to get my weights for the shoulders. Get my shoulder weights. Okay, as discussed, I'm not going crazy. I'm not doing 25-pounders. I'm not doing all these crazy weights. I'm going to use 210s. I'm going lightweight. Except for this is totally more sarcastic. I'm not going to be pulling no freaking Ronnie Coleman, lightweight, baby. Because this is like literally lightweight. He was throwing up like 500 pounds with saying that stuff. So, just know that, again, you can get that muscle and that interaction with lightweight. The reason why this is primarily out in my front room is because I've been walking, doing kind of farmer carries while walking with the weight to additionally pre-exhaust my shoulders, while at the same time helping build up my grip. My grip seems to be a failure point for me, so I'm trying to re-establish that grip. Now what we're going to be performing is I'm basically going to be performing 2 different exercises. Note that exercise is going to be for my front delt and for my medial delt. So I'm basically going to be doing front raises. This is to bring the arm straight forward, which is going to bring primarily the front delt into focus and control that and come back down. While at the same time, I'm also going to be doing a side sweep shoulder raise, which basically is going to get the medial and a little bit of front, a little bit of rear. The reason why I'm not going to be focusing on that rear delt again is because that exercise, although it is a push, I'm going to get the most development through a pull. Either via barbell row, lat pull down, etc. So I'm going to kind of superset these. What that means is I'm going to basically go through motion of hitting 10, and then when I'm exhausted on one set, I'm going to then go immediately into the next. So I'm going to start with the side raises. So that's going to get the larger portion, and it's going to get probably the non-optimal shoulder movement, because we're basically pulling it straight out. And then we're going to go into that frontal, because that frontal is probably going to be able to handle more weight. So although it's a smaller muscle group, it gets used in more functions than not. And I want to control the weight when it's coming down, because I really want to maximize that time under tension. For that medial delt. Oh. Oh. I'm sorry you had to see my butt belly. Okay. So now we come up. Let's hold that. Another exercise you could do. And this is just more for building up the strength and the lactic acid in those shoulders. So you can take a lighter weight, like 3 to 5 pounds. And just hold it up in front of you and try to keep it parallel as long as you can. You will feel some serious pain. And build up some tolerance on them delts. All right. Okay, set one. Know what I am saying? You can grab like some 5-pounders or 3-pounders and just hold them. Go for a minute. Go for 2 minutes, whatever you can do. You're gonna feel such a great lactic acid burn, and it will help you build up some strength. It used to be an exercise we used to do in wrestling. We'd sit up against the wall, back against the wall, then we take like 2-3 pounds and just hold them. So you're getting all lactic burn in your legs just from holding your body against the wall. And then your shoulders, it was great. Then when you had to throw someone, you had to grab someone, you were ready. Your shoulders didn't give up so easy. Sorry if you guys had to listen to that, but you gotta stay hydrated. I don't have any other way of saying it, but drinking water is really, really important. Especially on a fat loss journey like me. Let's get in that second set. Okay, so now the shoulders are burning. They're in my starting phase. You probably want to have your feet about the same width as your shoulders apart when doing this, and just slightly hunch over. The only reason why is if you go straight across, you're going to get that medial delt, but you're also going to involve a lot of traps. If you go a little bit over, you'll notice that you no longer are pulling so much on your traps. I don't know why this is. Your back rounds out just a little bit, but at the same time, you feel a lot more in your shoulders, and it's really beneficial. While doing this exercise, I really recommend trying your best to kind of make your pinky or the back side of your hand push towards the ceiling while keeping this as level as possible. It just seems like it helps really activate the central part of your shoulders. Oh! And then you can keep that position and then go straight forward into those. Oh, yeah. Lightweight is kicking my fat ass. But no, like I was saying a second ago, I mean, it's really, really important to stay hydrated. I mean, for me, it's been really awesome because it helps with appetite control. So like, I've told you guys, I love to eat. But I think part of that is because my stomach's like, hey, put something in me. Well, if I put enough water in there, it really reduces the amount of food I can put in there. So possibly most of my hunger signals are actually my body telling me I'm thirsty, and I just mistook it and kept eating. Which means this could be the exact same thing if any of you are facing something else. So drink water throughout the day, and if you can, I mean, this probably sounds stupid, but try to drink 16 ounces of water before you have a meal. I bet you might find that maybe you're not going to eat as much. You might be fuller than you think if you're trying to cut calories in a certain way. Should help you to feel fuller and help you to reduce the amount you eat. Additionally, I don't know. I know I've heard theories that like cold water helps you burn more calories and stuff like that. But I do know that the more water you have, you are going to burn more calories. There's something about drinking water that kind of boosts your metabolism. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's something with thermogenesis. I can't remember exactly, but it's something like that, that your body actually creates an increase in thermogenesis, or your body's expenditure, where it creates this, I'm trying to remember exactly what it is, how thermogenesis works, but it's like it forces your body to heat up, therefore burning more calories, and water temporarily does that. I can't remember exactly how long, but I do know that it does that. So it helps with calorie burning as well. So you're getting kind of like that double whammy of, your calorie burning from the water. Additionally, you're suppressing your appetite a little bit. Let's get this last set here. Okay, so one thing I didn't talk about a little bit, and I'm sorry for anybody who may be trying to do this at home, probably can't see it very well, but when I'm doing the side delts, think of me as almost just beginning a curl, and then I'm lifting up. So I'm not allowing my elbow to take control, I'm not allowing the forearm really to take control, I'm not allowing the bicep or anything else to take control. I'm just getting enough so that nothing can really grab a hold, and then just letting the side delt do the movement. And on the frontal, pretty much just take your arms out in front of you and do this. You'll see, that's all I'm doing. I'm blocking out the arm, allowing the shoulder to do all the lifting. Now with the shoulders take a lot of beating. I could do a lot more work on them, and I'm probably going to. So I'm pre-exhausting them now. I'm going to do my triceps, and I'm probably going to do a final finisher with probably just some side holds, front holds, and then with weight small, just to kind of really make it burn for probably about 2 or 3 minutes. However, I'll probably do that off of this. I wanted to record you guys what I have going on and what my future plan is and how this is going, and then kind of give you an explanation of what I'm trying to accomplish. So yeah, thank you for sticking with me. But like I was talking about the water a second ago. Oh, Sorry, I'm still trying to catch my breath a little bit. Well, I was talking about the water. You know, beyond just the appetite suppression, I mean, it gives additional benefits. Like it literally will boost your performance. Think of it like a. I'm trying to think of like, think of your body as a what's that belt, like a serpentine belt on a car. You know, think of it just like that little tiny bit of grease. That's what water's given to you, so you don't dry out and snap and freaking you're falling apart and now your car's not going anywhere. Your motor's done. Instead, water's that hydration, that grease that keep you going. You know, keep you loose, keep you going. It's going to give you that performance boost because first, you're not going to be dehydrated, allowing your muscles to optimally fill and, you know, contract as they need to, expelling and intaking that water as needed, that oxygenated water. You know, it's going to prevent you from getting exhausted as quickly. I think that's probably the biggest thing. Another thing about water that I've discussed in other videos, but you know, if you have fat in your body, I have lots of it. You have fat in your body. Let's take fat and replace that as that is, we'll say it's vinegar. Vinegar by itself is nasty. It stinks. It's strong. But you pour the water into it. What happens? It gets diluted. The same exact thing happens with fat and other toxins that are in your body. Water is going to help flush your kidneys, flush those toxins and waste products out of your body, which is going to help improve your health. And additionally, if your body and your organs are running right, it's probably going to help your metabolism because your body's now going to be like, oh, the toxins are gone. Well, what else am I going to filter? The fat or other toxins that you're putting in, depending on what you're doing. I mean, I don't really know a better way. And then like if you do things like I do, I know this thing contains aspartame. Some people hate it. Some people are okay with it. I'm okay with it. Ultimately, I would rather have a little bit of aspartame going in my body than 48 grams of sugar. You know, yeah, that Mountain Dew tastes amazing. Yeah, that Dr. Pepper tastes amazing. And those are two of my favorite drinks. But if my health is going to be better, I can sacrifice with a little bit of aspartame and a little bit of flavor to have 10 calorie water rather than for 33 fluid ounces rather than 120 calorie water for 12 ounces. It has its benefits. So if you can, stick with water. It will definitely make a maximal difference. I think even if you weren't cutting sugars and carbohydrates out of your diet, just changing from water, from sodas, I think will have a maximum feedback loop that you will start to see. You will start to be like, whoa, I didn't realize I was taking in those extra calories, etc. And you'll probably feel better. You'll feel fuller. You'll feel like your muscles are operating in a better fashion. Now, we're on to the last exercise I'm going to do. This has shortened my exercise because I'm doing totally different things. I never should have been doing 2-hour exercises. Neither should you. The exercise I'm doing today are just for me. Optimally, if you want to quick get in, get out exercise, I suggest doing something like an incline barbell bench press, an overhead press for your shoulders, or even the side lateral raise that I was doing, and then a tricep extension, which I'll show you now. Be aware, this is not a lot of weight. I am not trying to kill myself again. You're probably going to see that and be like, oh my gosh, it's 20 pounds. Yeah, it's 20 pounds. but I'm also not over, oh, I'm not gonna fight my body. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, so if you were to be performing this exercise, you basically want to take yourself so that where the starting point is right at your head, right at your face. You want this to be right about your face. You can see that my arms are already in an L shape, right? You see that? L. You want to take that L down to your sides. Now you can see, now I'm locked in. I can take it up. I want to be able to hold that. I want to be able to push down easily. I'm not using much of my body. I'm going to lean just slightly in so that I'm getting the full pressure down. And the only muscle that's working right now is my tricep and my wrist to hold this bar. Now this is where it gets a little bit painful because I do want to try and hold it a little bit into this pain point where I should be reaching for that weight. If I was heavier weight, I'd probably give up and let go. But I want to hold it, I want to lock in my elbows at my side and keep pushing. Now it's going to hurt when I get into that lock position and I feel like I'm getting relief, but actually I'm stretching out my tricep at the same time, and then I'm putting that tricep into full extension and allowing it to hold that weight. The weight's not controlling me, I'm controlling the weight. That's what we want. You can see my head's pretty much almost right at the cable. My feet are about the same as shoulder length apart, and I'm just pushing down. And all I'm doing is exhausting that tricep. And then letting it think that it's fine. Oh, it's stretched, it's relaxed. No, it's not. And we're going to do that until it tells me, hey, I can't do it no more. And when it says it burns, it hurts, we're going to do a little bit more. Because with a lot of weight, I would give up. Most people would give up. Or they'd start fighting and herking and jerking and just for an example, they'd be like, trying to fight it down. Put my weight back where it's supposed to be. So the only thing that's being worked is my triceps. Now your placement on this all depends on what you have. I have a flat bar here. Some people may use a cable or rope. If you're doing a rope, I would try to take it all the way down to your hips. I could show you with a rope, but I don't get as much feel in my triceps with the rope. And with the flat bar, I put my thumbs about a thumb width apart from the actual carabiner connector, so that I'm kind of close in on my body, which forces my elbows also to stay in while I'm going down. So you can see kind of about how far I'm going here. I'm not staying too far. And so you can see from this angle maybe a little better. I'm bringing it right in front of my body. The only difference is I'm allowing this to be here. So that lean forward will put a stretch on your tricep, because it will no longer be in its comfortable, oh, I have all this other muscle here. You'll stretch it out and pre-stretch it so it's already kind of filling up. Now, although I don't enjoy using it, what I was trying to say with the rope, I'll just show one real quick. So if you happen to be using a rope to do that same exercise, try to pull it down to your hips. So you see down and out, which gives you a little bit more flexion. But for me, I can't do it. I don't get the same amount of feel as I do the other way. And everybody's different. You find what works for you and do it. I will never say you're doing something wrong, because I'm not an expert. But I will tell you what works for me. And that's not it for me. Now, as for like maybe a face pull, or if I actually wanted to, weighted cotton pickers. I don't know another term for this, so please don't take offense to this. But you take the weight, you pull it just enough so that the weight's already being pulled, go down to your toes. Go down in between yourself and then reach as far as you can behind yourself through your legs. And that's a set of a cotton picker. That's what I have always called it. I don't know another name for it, so I apologize if there is another name and that's offensive in any way, shape, or form. That's just what I grew up it being called. You call it strawberry picking, I don't care. That's just what it was called when I was growing up. So, but yeah, so think of it like with a weighted, you're going down here, then you're going down right in between your legs, and then you're pushing as far as you can, but with weight. And I would do that with a very light weight, 5 to 15 pounds. It's just enough to kind of get a little bit of stretch in your, I don't remember what these are called, but your erectors, I believe they are. The muscles that run up along your spine, and at the same time stretches out your arms and gets a little bit of pull for like your hamstrings and a little bit of stretch movement. But you can do it with a little bit of weight for more functional strength. So I'm glad that you guys have spent this time with me here today again. The other day I kind of mentioned hydration and why it was so important, and I didn't really have the science behind it, so I did a little bit of research during my week of kind of rest before going into this change, while still, you know, walking and dealing with my ITB band. And so you guys know what I was talking about when I said my ITB band was hurting. There's like a ligament slash muscle that runs from right up against your hip all the way down your leg to the side of your knee. And apparently when I was doing the squats, I either did it in poor form, too fast, too slow. Something I did caused a slight pinch that was happening right here in my buttocks, so like right next to my butt. And then like, the best way I can call it is like a catch. It almost felt like it was catching right here on my knee. And then when I'd walk, you'd hear my knee go pop, 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 like pop, pop, pop. And it just kept slipping in and out. I wanted to make sure that wasn't a factor before I started getting back into the leg exercises. So if you find yourself in a spot where you're doing something similar to what I am, losing weight, and you injure yourself, make sure to take the proper recovery actions. This challenge is very, very important to me, and it's very important that I give you guys the same advice someone would give me, or that I would give myself. And as important as this challenge is, hurting yourself over a challenge is not what you want to do. You want to develop yourself and strengthen yourself in challenges like this. You want to push yourself to be better and push others to be better with you. You don't want to be the example of what not to do. So that's kind of why I took my rest break, and here we are again, second set. But what I will say is once you've developed a full understanding of where your muscles are, where your strengths are, and what you can handle, push yourself through those progressions. Hopefully by the end of this, as I discussed before, I do have some strength goals. They're not quite as important as what I want here. I want to be able to squat, 2 plates again. I want to be able to do 225. I want to be able to bench press 165 plus. I want to be able to bent over barbell roll or even lat pull down, 180 pounds again. But like I said, those are not as important as getting my body in the good proper shape and then working towards that over time. Those are goals. That doesn't mean that, I'm going to hit that tomorrow. I'm going to do that. That means I'm going to slowly push towards them. Sometimes you have to take a step back to go 2 steps forward. Be willing to accept that, hey, sometimes you have to step back. Let me give a personal example. So, at my former employer, I worked my way from the ground level to IT manager of a 2.4 billion square foot warehouse, being the IT manager and responsible for over $4 million worth of IT equipment and all leasing contracts, expirations, etc. I was technically ready, technically sound. I was prepared for anything that came at me from a technical standpoint. I was not ready for I guess I'm going to call it the people side of the business, or the game that people like to play. It's a networking strategy. It's a, how do you network with people? How do you scratch someone's back while making sure they scratch yours? I wasn't in it for that. I'm a technical kind of guy. I was about, hey, what does the job need to get done? How much does it freaking cost? And okay, no, that's a ripoff, or no, that's good. But at the same time, I was also a people pleaser. And sometimes I'd say yes to things that, yes, I could get accomplished, but not necessarily the way the people who were asking for it wanted it accomplished. So I had to take a step back. I had to suck my pride in and say, hey, you know what? As much as this is my dream job, let me step back. Because clearly I'm not the guy that you want. I took that step down. And then I got to watch as some things went really well and then some things went to shit. And rather than saying I told you so, I learned from it and I said, okay, what is it that I was doing wrong? What are the things I could do different? And you know what? I learned something really good. Being a technical person is great. It gives you the opportunity to get down dirty into the details. The problem is that business runs at the speed of speech. And what I said today doesn't necessarily mean what I want tomorrow. So, in a technical world, yes, I needed to run my department in a technical way. But I needed to be flexible enough to be ready to say, okay, cool, no, that can't happen. But here's a potential solution. Will this work with you? I needed to be willing to put my foot down and say, hey, look, I'm not saying no, but I'm saying what you're saying can't be performed the way you want it, and set that expectation rather than just coming back and saying, sure, we'll make it happen, or, allowing those people or networking communications to kind of dictate something to my department or myself without my knowledge. It's a learning opportunity. And now I know better. Now I know that it's not so much about the dollar value. It's about two things. Do you have the right people? And are you willing to identify when something is wrong? And this goes back to what I said. If you identify what's wrong and you have the right people, you can handle anything. And I know that the people around me are the right people. And I know when to identify if something went wrong, as in my ITB band issue. While I still continue on this push and I continue on this challenge, you too, if you're out there, think about it. What are the things that you need? So let's get this last set. And actually, you know what? Before we get this last set, we're gonna add another 5 pounds here because I want to feel this like fire because it already hurts. My tricep already is telling me that, hey, you're gonna feel me tomorrow, but I want to feel it today. So we're gonna add a little bit of extra weight there, just 5 extra pounds. Hear my elbow popping, it's wonderful. And that's it for today, folks. Thank you for being here. Thank you for witnessing my first push exercise. I will be performing my push exercise on Mondays and Thursdays. This will give me 2 days of rest between my next set of doing push exercises. Tomorrow I will be hitting that pull, and then my third leg day will be legs. So as long as I stay on my current schedule, it'll be Monday and Thursdays push. Pulls will be Tuesdays and Fridays, and legs will be Wednesdays and Saturdays, with Sunday being a day off. Just sucks that it won't be football no more, and until next year, hopefully next year, although we won't be the Super Bowl champions, I'll finally get to wear the AFC Championship shirt that my wife bought me in 2019. And I've been so fat, I didn't want to stretch it out because I didn't want to ruin a gift that my mom gave, or that my wife gave me, and I didn't want to ruin a new t-shirt for my team. So, thank you everybody. Have a wonderful day. Peace.